Hello everyone, my name is Griff, and today we are going to be going over the live current summon showcase, which is the Halloween Fantasia. Now this banner is getting a rerun, so if you look in game, it will show you all of the adventures that are on focus and all the dragons. There are 5 5-star dragons, sorry, not dragons, 5 5-stars, 4 4-stars, and 1 3-star. So today I thought I'd just go over this banner as well as the Platinum Showcase that's currently live, because I feel like both are pretty important to the game's health as of right now. This banner was kind of dropped on us randomly as a preview yesterday. There is no current event other than the time attack for the light adventures and I guess Trials of the Mighty at the same time, so I expect that we'll get some story or something this month, like in this week. But the reason that this banner is so important is because 1, it's a limited time Halloween banner, and 2, it lasts until the 28th. So as you can see here, it's going to be until the end of the month, which most likely means that this banner will be what the banner before the gala. So in my mind, we'll have this banner going up until the gala. We'll have the gala, which will probably have a reborn dragon, and then Vampy and whoever else is on that banner, so probably 4 things on that banner, which is pretty good because if Vampy is on a gala banner, that 1 means she's not limited, because they've never put more than 1 limited character on a gala banner to my knowledge. They might have with Lily and Victor in Christmas time, but in Dragon Yule time rather, but I don't believe they did. So I believe that that's a good indication to say that she's not limited. I don't think anyone was really expecting Vampy to be limited, but it's a pretty good indication. In another case, we might just get the gala before then, and then on the month afterward, at the start of May, we would get the proper Vampy banner. Who knows what could happen? This is kind of the last banner that's setting in before we get the Vampy, and then also probably the Fire Emblem banners in middle of May, because I'm picturing that her event will last until the middle of May. So all in all, this banner is it's going to be around for a little bit more than a week, so it's pretty important that we look at this pretty deeply. The reason I waited until today to go over this banner is because I wanted to know the appearance rates for the summon units, because sometimes when they have past like banners where they have multiple 5 stars, Christmas banners or Easter banners or Valentine's banners, they don't put every unit on focus, but this time every single focus adventure, every single adventure listed on that list is actually at a 5% rate for 5 stars and a higher percent rate for dragons and 4 stars and 3 stars. So everyone you see here, which is all of these adventures, can also be sparked or worm sizzle traded, and they're also on focus. So I thought I would just go down this list. I believe I can see them. If I go through here, I can hold down on them and see them all, yes. So as far as priority things, I guess we'll just go from top to bottom. Halloween Edward is a light blade. He's a 3-star. If you don't have him, he's not going to be that great for you. I believe he does have a mana spiral, but I'm not 100% sure. He clearly has cursor, as you can see here. He's not that notable, but he is a 3-star, so if you want to complete your 3-star collection, he is one. I think he is the only limited 3-star in current, because I believe the only other one was Valentine's Orion, and Valentine's Orion has been added to the permanent pool. So there's that. There's Halloween Althemia, which was a year 1 unit as well. She's a healer with a bit of damage, and I believe she also has a mana spiral. She's not too notable in my opinion, because there are so many other light healers at the moment, and also, light as a whole element kind of strayed away from healing a while ago. It's kind of coming back, but even now, she's not too, she doesn't have much that doesn't. No, anything that you find in here, you can probably find on Vixo at a better rate, so I wouldn't recommend summoning for either of these two. Halloween Odetta, on the other hand, is an attack unit. She was a year 2 unit, so she is a bit better, in my opinion, because she came down later, so she has a more intricate kit. She has things like Frostbite and things like Prime Defense, Buff Time. I don't believe she's very good currently, because she is partly a buffer, and Curse and Hody will just completely rewrite that out of there. So, there's only so much you can do with a unit like this, but if you do want her for your collection, she is a 4-star. She has I believe a 1.6% drop chance, which is about, basically it would take you a couple tenfolds to get her, but she is there. Next, we have probably the most high value item on this banner, which is Halloween Lowen. Now, Halloween Lowen is considered to be one of the best healers in the game as a whole, as well as in the Flame Element pool in and of itself. To start, he has this first ability, which restores HP to all allies and increases the team's strength, and the strength is on stack. Pretty basic. I believe when you level it up, and we can go check this right now because I know for a fact I have a Halloween Lowen that's leveled up. I believe that when you level this up, it gives a defense buff. So let's look here. Increases HP, it will also increase the team's strength and defense for 5 seconds. So this gives you regen, strength, and defense all in one ability, which is super big. It's also shareable, which is super good. It's probably one of the best shared skills in the game for healing specifically because of how much it gives you. And then here's a treat for you. Restores HP to allies and increases the entire team's max HP by 10% for the remainder of the quest. So every time you use this, it will increase it by 10% up to 30%. So you use it 3 times, everyone in your team has 30% extra health. Additionally, once you've reached that threshold, it will then just heal even more at the end. He has a normal core ability, obviously. He has skill prep, sleep resistance, and force charge. So he can actually, at the start of the quest, just do a force strike and instantly get up to 100% skill prep, as well as having 2 more charges. So he has basically 150% skill prep in kit, as well as sleep resistance, which is kind of niche in the Flame Element. It's super useful for Volk. A lot of the times in Volk pubs, you will see a Halloween Lowen taking those sleep orbs if you don't have like an Ezolith or another Gala adventurer that can take them. He would usually be the one taking them because you need so much healing in that fight, and the skill boost that you get from those and the skill regeneration factor you get from them is super important. So if you do not have Halloween Lowen, I would recommend summoning almost exclusively for him, because he is one of the most high value things on this banner as a whole, simply due to how he is as a healer, how he is as a character, what he's able to do. He really is a kind of a meta staple at this point. So it could be different with Nihility. We don't have an endgame flame boss for the Sinister Dominion, so that could change. The fact that he only is going to give regen could change, but those fights really do need a lot of healing, and he is one of the people that excels in that the most. So at the moment, I would still recommend, I feel like he's future proof, especially if they give him a mana spiral. If they give him a mana spiral with maybe an amp system or a bigger HP buff, anything to match him with the Wind Lowen, if they gave that to him, he would be exceptional already. So there's that. Halloween Alisan was the focus 5-star on the original banner. I don't have her. The only 5-star I have is Halloween Melsa, and I'm going to go over Halloween Melsa soon. But Halloween Alisan is a bit of an interesting case because she is a light lance. She was one of the first in the game, and she specializes in gauge acceleration and skill damage, as well as having healing effects on this first move. So when you use this move the first time, it does damage. The second time, it increases the team strength, and the third time, it gives regen. And she has this other one that deals light damage and fills the user's gauge if it attacks. So she kind of has a hyper, she wants to be cycling through skills very quickly so she can get buffs and regen. I remember at the start of the game, she was super, super good. Nowadays, she has a mana spiral, and originally that mana spiral was pretty bad, and then they kind of changed it a little bit, so she's decent. But I haven't seen her in any of the Sinister Dominion clears, if I'm being completely honest. Maybe I just haven't been looking in the right places, but she seems to rely too much on these buff cyclings between the two, and I can't really talk about her mana spiral because I can't see it here, so I don't know it off the top of my head. I do have a video on it, so if you want to go look at that, you can go find it. But she cycles through those, and I feel like in Sinister Dominion with Curse and Nihility, she won't really be able to do that as well, or she won't be able to rely on it as much. So as far as I'm concerned, she is not a reason to summon. We have so many other light units at the moment. If you don't have any light adventurers and you really want her, she is a limited time unit. If you like Elisand, you probably just want her for that alone. So there is that. Next we have Halloween Melsa, who seems to be the promotion for this event, and if I'm being 100% honest, is probably one of the worst adventures on this entire banner. And it's unfortunate, but I'll go over why. So, and let me switch over to my adventures, because I do have a 50 MC'd Halloween Melsa, even with augments, and see if I can go over why. So her first skill is Spooky Revival, and it increases the team's strength by 25% for 15 seconds. Has a super cute skill animation and icon. The problem with this is, if you're in a Nihility meta, this is unusable. It just straight up doesn't do anything. So your first skill is completely unusable. Kinda sucks for her, because even in the first place before Nihility she wasn't that good. I could at least recommend saying, hey, if you need a wind buffer, she could be good. In Legend of Cielo, she has the potential to be good and replace Zyron Zanfried, but Zyron Zanfried is so much better that it's not even worth comparing. Her second skill deals wind damage directly ahead and inflicts poison and lowers their poison resist by 20%. The resistance reduction will not stack. So she reduces poison resistance, which is fine. Again, in Legend Cielo, it would kind of help you because Legend Cielo has such a high poison resistance. But we're in this game with Stormlash at this point. And Stormlash is just this new Gen 2 kind of affliction that everyone's trying to afflict in the wind element, trying to push. So she seems like just a completely out-of-date unit. She really needs a Mana Spiral. I was hoping that today, when this banner went live, they would announce Mana Spiral. I could go over it, but they just didn't. So she, within her own skills, already has a very, very small niche of what she can do. And if you put her into a Nihility meta, she's going to be useless. Just straight up, she's going to be bad. On top of that, we get into her co-ability, which is normal chain co-ability, which HP equals 60 equals 6% strength. Not too bad. You get into her abilities. Her first ability is Endurance of the Dead. Upon revival, the user comes back with 80% of their HP once per quest. This is just it's unfortunate how useless this is, but a lot of end-game quests don't even have revival, and even if they do, you're trying to grind for materials, so you probably don't even want to revive in the first place. You're probably just going to restart. So it's niche, it's cute. I think Kimono Alasan has the same thing, but as a co-ability. So it, even then, it kind of has its own niche within the game where it's saying, okay, this is an ability I have, not even a co-ability, so I can't even give this to other people in a case where I would want to revive. It's kind of iffy. She has freeze res, which is alright. I mean, Bog is usually harder to resist, because if you're bogged, you're slowed and you're taking more damage. If you're frozen, you can't move, but you can just have someone else break you free if it's really a trouble. And then to round it all off, she has poison equals team strength plus 10%. Upon poisoning, you give 10% strength. Again, in Nihility meta, that's useless. It doesn't do anything. And you're probably not even going to be running poison in the first place. So, as much as I think she's cute, as much as I love her little ketchup bottle and her eye patch and Halloween Ceresalt over here, I can't recommend pulling for this unit literally at all. She probably will just sit in your roster unless you really want to make a push to use her, which is great. If you want to make a push to use her, that's great. I might just make a video this week where I use her, because I don't know if I've used her since Halloween when I got her. So it's pretty funny, but she does seem kind of useless. Next we have Halloween Akasha, who is a water blade. I believe the competition she has in this pool is Valerio, and I don't remember if there's another one. All in all, she really focuses on bleed and defense reduction. This is a tougher one because she doesn't directly rely on buffs. She does have this bleeding equals HP recovery, which would actually stay through, I believe. And she does have this defense reduce equal debuff edge, which basically, if they have a reduced defense, it increases the chance of getting bleed. So it's possible that within the meta of the Sinistro minion, this could work, because there isn't a lot of push for bleed in that fight at all at the current moment, either in the current fight or whatever fight we'll get next, we don't know. And additionally, she doesn't rely on buffs, which is a huge thing, because Valerio kind of has these custom buffs that he gets, and I'm not sure if they're removed by Curse and Nihility or not. I would hope they wouldn't be, because they're kind of related to his stances, but they might be. So I can't speak on that. She at least doesn't rely on buffs at all, really. The only one I can really see here is this HP one. And even then, she's relying more on defense down and bleed, which is useful, because defense down increases your team DPS just by a certain percent, because you're reducing the amount of damage that they're resisting in the first place, and then you're adding bleed onto that, which is a stacking buff, kind of similar to something like Frostbite or Poison or Windlash, something like that. So she does have a niche. She might be worth something for in a certain case, but I don't know. I don't have her. I can't speak to it. I'm 100% skipping this banner. strictly because I want to see what comes next. I just summoned for Human Mercury in the first place, so she's a mix-up. She's someone I'm the least sure of, if I'm being completely honest. The other ones I can really kind of give you a definitive answer on whether or not you should have them or not. She's the one where I really can't, because I don't have much experience case. I never see her being used, so maybe there's something I'm not aware of that she's terrible at, but that's just how I feel about it. And lastly, we have Halloween Mim. Now, Halloween Mim is an interesting case, because she was one of the first characters to have a unique ability in critical damage. Now, at the time, it was kind of like, okay, you get this, you get her, and then a couple months later, Valentine's Melody came out, and Valentine's Melody had the same ability. So it was like, okay, you get one, there you go. But now with Curse and Nihility and team locks, your team is tied to an element, which means that only Flame or Wind characters can get this boost if they have the respective adventures. So for example, if I wanted to play, let's just say Ezalith, who uses a lot of critical damage, it would be almost required for me to have either Valentine's Melody or Halloween Mim, because I want to have that extra damage. This goes up to 30. Because of that, I can't use Valentine's Melody on my Flame team in the backline because it's element locked, so it wouldn't let me run with her. So this is actually a unique ability that is tied to Flame or Wind, and if you don't have her, you basically can't have it on Flame adventures. It's pretty cool that they did this. She does have a unique shapeshift form as well. Kind of interesting that they did this for a Halloween ult, and this adventure has a lot of things that are very cool to them. So let's go over them for a second. Her main ability is Charming Trick. Deals flame damage and puts a debuff down the last for 10 seconds that reduces the defense by 10%. This goes up to, I believe, 20%, or maybe it's 15%, I'm not 100% sure. It goes up from there. And it's super useful because of just the fact that it's a defense ability. You're reducing the defense while they're in there. In a lot of stages in Volk, there's a lot of times where he's just standing in the middle of the stage where you can put this down and basically, again, increase team DPS by a huge amount. Super good. It's not as good as you about to say, but it's up there. Next, she has her second skill, which increases the strength of Flame Adventures by 15% and activates Dream Boost. During Dream Boost, critical rate is raised by 3%. I believe it's, again, increased by more. She is a buffer, so this might have been removed by Curse and Nihility. I believe this first part would be, but the second part wouldn't be, and it's basically just critical damage increased. And then she has this, where she's reduced to Burm. She shapeshifts into Mim, or Brunhilde rather. She shapeshifts into Brunhilde, and she has increased damage. She has Stun Resist, and then she has Draconic Dream, which is increased defense while shapeshifting by 80%, while Dream Boost is active, adds a 15% modifier to damage while in the dragon form. So she basically is trying to do what normal Mim does, which is just super ramp into dragon, and then use all her dragon damage to do a bunch of damage to the adventurers or the things that you're fighting. If this was before Nihility, even if this was before Nihility and during Team Lock, I would say 100% you should go for her if you want to use Ezalith, because Ezalith needs her. But now, we're in a meta where Ezalith is basically going to be unusable in Nihility due to her passive critical damage being nerfed. The big thing about Ezalith is that she stacks these buffs that give her 20% critical damage up to like 160%. So she has a 160% critical rate. And then you add in Halloween Mim on the back line, so you get an extra 30%. You add Arctos, so she's getting another like 45% of critical damage. She's doing a bunch of crits, basically. All of that's going to be removed. So her damage is going to come from her skills, which is not great, and her attack buff, which again, not great. So I don't know who exactly would benefit from this. All in all, she seems to be fine, but like I said, this is going to be nerfed heavily by Nihility. They might change this so that her buff is different, but I don't see why they would, because they haven't done that yet. But she does have a unique ability, and if you want this ability for your Flame team, this is a way to get it. So she is a reason to summon. All of these units are really a reason to summon. If you're talking meta implications, Halloween Lowen really is the shine here. If you really don't have him, I'd say summon until you get him. That's going to be it for me for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.